Textbook win by your Philadelphia Phillies today in Houston. Their fourth straight series win. They take it 6-1 over the Houston Astros, and we welcome you to Phillies Postgame Live, presented by our friends at Cure Auto Insurance. Ricky Batalico, I'm Michael Barkamp, Ben Davis, and Tom McCarthy with an interview coming up. Ricky Bo, that's the world champs. Yep. And I realize Jose Altuve's out, etc., but to come into their ballpark after what happened last November, keep your heads above water, hold them high, and take this series. Who knows? Maybe they'll sweep them tomorrow.
Well, I think what this is all about, it's the right time of the year for the Phillies. They're starting to get into a nice little stretch here, and they are playing some tougher teams. There's no doubt about that. Houston's not exactly what they were at the end of last season, but still, you go into their house and you take them down 2 in a row, and to me, it's about the starting rotation. Your number 1, your number 2 have stepped up a notch, a big notch.
That's huge. Let's go back to Houston, check in with Tom McCarthy and Ben Davis with an interview. Guys?
All right, Michael, thank you very much. And Kody Clemens has been nice enough to join us down on the field. And, Kody, you're kind of a representative for this entire offense here today. This is a heck of a victory for the Phils these last couple of days.
Yeah, it's been wonderful. I mean, these are 2 big W's that we just got. And, we're just trying to stay rolling and have quality at bats and, pass the baton to one another. And it's been great so far.
Yeah, it's been nice to see everybody contribute. We're going to let you get doused a little bit there.
Oh,
woo! How'd that feel?
Cold. I knew that was coming.
It seemed aggressive, though, didn't it?
I saw some shot. Hey, they've been getting everybody. But
yeah.
Hey, and I asked you during the 7th inning hit, who's the player of the game? And the guys do it during the game. And I said, is it Zack Wheeler, who pitched 6 shutout innings today? Is it Kody Clemens, who came home and hit a home run? Or was it Nick Castellanos, who smacked one out again?
And it's still Zack Wheeler.
All right, you can't dispute any of them.
The guy that went out there and dealt today, I mean, let's face it, the focus of the Phillies still sits on the top of their starting rotation. Aaron Nola goes 8 innings, 3 hits, and 1 run last night, and then you have Wheeler coming back and kind of toppling over that, going 6 innings, 3 hits, and no runs. Yeah. To me, that's what's special. I think Zack Wheeler and Aaron Nola, you wanted to see those guys get back on the right track. Castellanos is back on that right track. He's been on that right track all season long, so you don't really worry about that. Kody Clemens, bench player, got to do his job. He picked up a big hit today, a big home run for the Phillies today. And by the way, I'm going to throw this out of the blue,
Ricky Bo,
because I'm going to throw some stats at you from today's game.
Go ahead.
Your 1 through 3 guys went 1 for 14. Your team with runners in scoring position were 2 for 12.
Terrible.
What team am I talking about?
The Phillies.
And they still won.
Yeah, and they still won big.
That, to me, says a lot for guys like Kody Clemens, for Cave at the bottom of the lineup. I keep bringing up these bench players because these guys, where would they be without these bench players right now, which includes Cave, which includes Clemens, which included
Christian Pache.
But now also, you look at Clemens, what he did today, it's a good thing that at least these guys are hitting when you need them.
Yeah, let's go back to Houston, check in with Ben Davis. Ben, if I'm not mistaken, you did hit a home run at the vet, I think, in your return. I'm not positive, but I thought I remember that. Off of Omar Dahl, I believe it was.
It was the hottest game I've ever played in, Mike. It was 148 on the turf.
That's it?
I do remember that as well. I remember that.
It was unbelievable, yeah.
You jogging around the bases.
Good win today.
It was a great win today. It certainly was. And just to continue along the lines of what Ricky had said, the bench and the role that it has played in the success of this team. They are now 15-13 on the season. They have now won 4 straight for the first time this season. They're 10-3 in their last 13. They're 15-9 since that 0-4 start, Ben. How much has the bench meant?
Well, it's huge. You're going to have, it's 162 games. You're going to have to give your guys a breather every now and again. And you just can't just put anybody out there. They have to be productive. And that's what you have right now at this bench. And I think you got to tip your cap to Dave Dombrowski going out and acquiring these guys. I mean, he gets Clemens in the deal with Gregory Soto from the Tigers. He comes in and contributes. You saw him hit the long home run last week against the Rockies last Sunday. But Jake Cave coming in was 3 for 4 today. 7, 8, 9, again, we're 6 for 11 with 4 RBIs today. I mean, they're getting it done. They make this lineup that much longer. And you got to tip your cap. These guys are coming. They're playing good defense. And this is what you need. This is what you want. The starting pitching has come around. It's just starting to really kind of get into form here. And that's with some of the big boys not doing a whole lot right now. And that's why it makes it such a great team effort. Again, you got to tip your cap because you just can't go play 162 every day or every year. And you got to have guys that can give you a breather and be productive. That's exactly what they're getting right now.
Ben, tell me a little bit about what you saw from Zack Wheeler tonight, and do not use the word sweeper.
Well, if I caught him today, I would have had to ice my pointer finger because I would have just kept going like this all day long with that sinker.
Ben, when you look at the schedule, and I know they got one more game in Houston before going to Los Angeles, but they played such, in quotes, inferior competition to start the season. 0-4, obviously. They were up and down. They didn't play a playoff team except for the Yankees. Now, all of a sudden, the competition gets stepped up. Seattle, they took that series. They've taken this series today, then to L.A., then Boston, then Toronto, going to give them trouble. How good a team is this right now, and what should our expectations be for this team in the short term?
They're a very good baseball club, Michael. They've cut back on the base running blunders. They're playing very good defense. Bryson Stott, I know he didn't have any hits today, but he had a tremendous game at second base, and that's what you need. You got to be strong up the middle. He was phenomenal. They're getting better starting pitching. The bullpen is really coming into form. They have been lights out. I mean, I know Vasquez gave up a home run today, but some of the stuff coming. Marte's, the stuff that he was throwing in the ninth inning, I'll take that any day of the week. They've been so good. So it's really kind of forming into the team that we thought we were going to have coming out of spring training. They're a very good ball club, and this is with a couple guys that are not, the big boys aren't really doing a whole lot. And obviously, minus Bryce Harper. I'm anxious to see what the doctor says on Monday in L.A., so we're keeping our fingers crossed there. They're a very good ball club right now. They're getting the good pitching, and they're playing good defense, and they're getting timely hitting, and it's everybody. It's all 26 guys on this roster right now. Rob Thomson's making the right moves. I love the fact that he let Zack Wheeler make up his mind today to stay in that ball game. He goes out there and punches Tucker's ticket with that high fastball to complete the sixth inning. It's just a good squad, and these guys work their tails off. And they don't look at, we face some teams that we, quote-unquote, as you said, should beat. They're going into these teams that, yes, they're good on paper, but they just don't look ahead. They worry about the task at hand each and every day, and I think that's why they're going to be so successful again this year.
What the heck is going on with Trey Turner?
He's not getting any separation, right? Like, he's here, and he's not getting that separation between his stride and his foot. It just seems like he's here, and he's just kind of just chopping at the ball. There's nothing behind. He's not staying behind anything. That's what we saw a lot of out of Nick Castellanos last year. This year, Nick's getting gathered. He's letting the ball get deeper, and then he's having at it. I just see a choppy swing right now by Trey Turner, and maybe he's trying to impress. He signs a big deal in a big city, in a big market, on a team that went to the World Series last year. Maybe he's hearing some rumblings and he's just trying to do too much. It's a matter of time before he gets it, and it clicks. Maybe that little duck snort in the ninth inning right there will get him going. And get going back to being the Trey Turner that we saw earlier in the year and what we saw in the WBC.
Can you do an impression of a duck snort? That's not a duck snort. Come on.
I don't have my calls with me, Michael.
Okay.
I don't have
well,
my calls
They're in my
truck.
I expect you to have them sent out to you by the time they get to L.A. Last thing is runners in scoring position. They were 2 for 12. We've been lamenting their issues with runners in scoring position, but going into today, they were in the top half of baseball with runners in scoring position. They're not Texas, which is 346 batting average, or the Rays at 312, but they are 253 with runners in scoring position. Just doesn't seem that way sometimes, does it?
Sometimes it doesn't seem that way. They did have those two big games. I think one was against the Reds and one was against the Rockies, I believe. So
one was a 9 for 19.
Yeah, so I think that kind of throws that batting average up a little bit higher. But you know what? It's a matter of time. You get 8 extra base hits. I think they had 8 extra base hits today. So if you do that, it doesn't matter how many runners are in scoring position. They're going to score from first base. But again, that'll come into form as well because this lineup's too talented for it not to.
Ben Davis joining us from Houston. Thanks, my friend. We'll check you in L.A. We appreciate it. Thank you, Benny.
Boys. Thank
you. Got it. Let's take a look at inside the box score of a 6-1 Phillies win, their 4th straight victory. And when you look at this, Ricky Bo, and you see all those extra base hits, home run, double, double. 2 doubles for Alec Boehm. Another home run for Kody Clemens.
For
and 2 doubles for Cade.
It seems like after you hit that number 3 spot, you look at Castellanos all the way down. It was a beautiful game for all those guys. I talked about the 1 for 14 at the top of the lineup. Trey Turner just, I don't know what it is. It looks like he's almost over anxious, trying to do too much at the plate, trying to hit everything way too hard. Just let the ball come to you, like Ben said. I think he'll get better. Bryson Stott, he had some good at-bats today, just no good result. So, and we all know about Schwarber's going to come around. But, I mean, for the clubhouse right now, that's a happy clubhouse.
Yeah, Schwarber, by the way, he's on pace for pushing 40 home runs. So
we didn't even get to the beanball.
We'll get to the beanball. That's a great point. The beanball and what will happen tomorrow is a result of the beanball because it didn't happen today.
Surprising.
Rob, you guys come out and have all those extra base hits against the pretty difficult right-handers. What'd you like about the approach today?
Like I said before the game, we got the heater down, we got the breaking balls up, and he hung a breaking ball to Casty to get it going, and we could put together good at bats. Three innings with crooked runs helps.
And some guys at the bottom of the lineup, like Kody Clemens, hit a couple balls hard there. Is that just a matter of him getting more playing time? Yeah, Cade as well.
Just keep them in the mix, and both those guys have actually been swinging bat pretty good lately, so it's been good.
Do you think that's the best outing you've seen out of Wheeler this season?
Yes. The velocity and the life to his fastball was as good as I've seen this year. Just pumping strikes and using his secondary pitches, the sweeper and the slider and the curveball. He was really good.
Did it look like he had a better feel for the sweeper?
Yeah, and I think as time goes on, it'll just keep getting better and better.
You don't often make a mound visit without taking the pitcher out. What were you doing there?
His pitch count was up there pretty good, so I just want to make sure he's okay to take on Tucker, because we had Soto ready, and he said he was fine. So Soto would have started the next inning, but we added on, so then we went to Vasquez.
I say you're able to avoid using a lot of your big guys, so you see them.
Yeah, so it's good.
2 pretty satisfying wins against a really good team.
Yeah.
How nice is it to come in here and just have these wins?
Yeah, it's nice. We won 4 series in a row, and now go for a sweep tomorrow. But we're playing good baseball in all phases, really. We're getting good starting pitching the last few days. Our bullpen's been really, really good for a while now, and we're getting timely hits, so it's all been good.
For Wheeler to follow Nola, what Nola did last night, I mean, just kind of an up and down month for both guys. Just how important is that to close out April?
Yeah, it's great, and I think they're getting settled into the season now, and short off season, long postseason last year. I don't know whether that has anything to do with it or not, but it looks like they're rounding into form.
Kody seemed a little more fired up when he came in the dugout. It was the hometown ballpark.
Oh yeah, that's got to be a great feeling. If you're Roger Clemens' son, you come into Houston and hit a home run. It's pretty neat.